Living in a tiny home means the line between outside and inside is very thin. A huge portion of our lives happen outdoors, rain or shine. Dirt, muddy boots, soggy coats, and more make their way through this one little entryway, and what we do with those things determines whether our space feels calm and functional or chaotic and frustrating. So this week we're doing something that should make it a little easier on ourselves. Come along as we tackle a few DIYs that we should have done a long time ago, and finally check some things off of that giant to-do list of ours. Before we dive into our projects, we have to do our morning chores just like we do every single morning. Today it just happens to be raining, but we caught a break in the heavy rain. One thing that I really noticed when we moved to our land was that we spent most of our time outside. I think as we get more things done inside and finish more projects, that becomes less and less true, but I'd still say that we spend way more time outside than the average person. Basically, the work that we do happens outside, so it's kind of hard to not be out there. This is something that Casey and I both have actually come to really enjoy. I can't tell you how many times I have walked to the bathroom outside at night, yes, that does happen, and really got to stare at the sky and enjoy how bright the stars are out here. That's just something that I never really got to do unless we were camping or something, but now it happens pretty often, and that's just one example. But just because I do appreciate being able to be outside as much as we do does not mean that I also don't appreciate being able to come inside to a house that is cozy and that I enjoy being in. So after we eat our breakfast, it's pedal to the metal on our first project.
Let me wind down my days in the sweet dusty haze. Take me back down the old dirt road. Oh, take me back down the old dirt road. Oh, take me back down the old dirt road. Take me back down the old dirt road.
We're about to go outside and work on a project, but first I need to take my gummies. I used to be terrible at taking vitamins, but as I'm getting older, I'm realizing how important they are and how challenging it is to get those vitamins and nutrients in by diet alone, which is why I'm now taking Groons, today's sponsor. What I love about Groons is instead of having a bunch of different bottles cluttering my counter in my tiny home, I can take a pack of their gummies and be done. Groons gummies aren't just a multivitamin, there are greens, prebiotics, and over 60 whole food ingredients, all packed into 8 gummies you take every day. And they taste great. These gummies are vegan, gluten-free, nut-free, dairy-free, and they have no artificial colors or sweeteners. And you can even choose between a low sugar and a no sugar option. Another thing I love about Groons is that the nutrients are more bioavailable. I've always heard that pills and tablets don't really absorb very well, and some vitamins you actually need to take with food, which this is not the case with Groons. Since they are gummies, your body actually absorbs the nutrients instead of being flushed out when you pee. If you've been looking for an easy way to get all of your nutrients in, you can get up to 52% off in the link in the description box below.
First we gotta roll up this thing.
This piece of wood came from a tree right out here. We had these trees cut down. They were too close to the house. They were huge. They weren't healthy. We had them cut down 3 years ago now. And then we had someone mill them, and they've just been sitting for all that time because we have many projects for them. And this is what it looks like before being milled and after. And it's very exciting to see this. I can't wait to see it. Have we ever stained like properly? Yeah.
We just sealed.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's so beautiful, and like this came from our land.
Taking this wood that was growing on our land at one point and turning it into something beautiful and useful is something we are very excited about, and hopefully we will get to do this over and over again because we have a pretty big pile of wood. So a project like this is really good for us to do because we get to try out all of the tools and things that help us turn this ratty piece of wood into something beautiful.
You gotta just stop because the chickens need food.
Oh, she's eating immediately. This is my first time using a jointer. We got this a couple years ago and opened it for the first time for this project, but it was bought for this wood. Okay, we have reached a point where we need to sand and realize that the sander we really like is broken and we need more sandpaper. We have a lot of sandpaper, but we need more in the correct grits. And we decided we'll just go into town, get that stuff, eat some Mexican food, come back to this project tomorrow with fresh eyes because we were hitting one too many obstacles, and sometimes when that happens you just need to move on for the moment and come back. If you enjoyed night plumbing last week, then you will enjoy night wood finishing this evening. You may have heard us talk about how Casey is the paint department. Well, the paint department will be opening later in this video, but she's also the sanding department. I don't know why, but this job is just not for me.
Oh my god.
No, Sanford, I'm about to cut wood. I take over more of the sawing side of things, and then Casey does more of the finishing things, usually. But we both can do both jobs, but that's just kind of what we tend to gravitate towards. I got this biscuit cutter for Christmas a couple Christmases ago, and again, this is my first time using it, but I'm really glad that I got to try it out because I've never used one before, and I already would do some things differently and think I could do it better next time, which is why it is nice to be doing this little project in hopes to get better at using these tools so that we could do a bigger project in the future or just something nicer.
We have some leftover Mexican. It is Casey's fajitas, just the meat and onions and peppers, and this is what we usually do with that. First I have some corn tortillas torn up, and they are in the pan getting crispy, and we're gonna make basically migas but with leftover fajitas. So I'm going to chop all of this up into smaller pieces because these are pretty big bites. And I'm going to warm it up with the tortillas, and then we're going to put eggs over it.
We got a fun mail day. We knew today was going to be a fun mail day. We were expecting these plants, so very excited about that. We got a bunch of perennials. And then somebody sent us some fun items from our wish list. So it's a starter culture for gluten-free sourdough. And these are fire blankets. So basically, we'll keep one in the kitchen. I guess we'll keep the other one in like the shed maybe.
Yeah, by the solar.
By the solar. You just pull them out and throw it over a fire. We have a fire extinguisher, but you know, I think it's good to have multiple options. Can never be over prepared. So thank you to Linda for sending us that. I just applied pre-stain on this test wood, and then I'm gonna apply the stain and see, make sure we like it. And it's very windy. What do you think, Hazel?
We're going for a neutral, leaning warm vibe. Oh, that looks really nice.
It does look really nice. With that grain.
Ooh la la.
Look at this dadgum strawberry growing in my driveway, because this is all strawberries, but they are just making their way down into the driveway.
You may have seen that we already had a hanging rack by the door. The big problem with that version was that the pegs that you hang your coats and things on were way too shallow, and you could only hang half a strap of a purse or something thin. And it was really easy for things to fall off if you didn't put it on just right. While I'm finishing up outside, Casey came inside to start working on the walls. My big job at this time is to figure out how to hang the shelf without seeing the screw holes. Originally, I was just going to drill the shelf into the wall like the other one was, and then plug the hole from the front with a piece of wood. But I just couldn't figure out how to do that where I could take the shelf on and off if I wanted to. So I decided to make these little French cleats that fit into an area that I routered into the back. It's not the prettiest solution, but you won't see this when it's hanging on the wall. It looks so, oh my gosh, it's amazing. That's because it's vertical. It's wild that it's taken us 2 whole days to make this simple looking shelf. Don't you want to come look?
Okay.
I have gathered some fabrics from our stash. Let's see what Casey thinks. We just need one for the bench.
That's fun.
I know.
Kind of incorporate a little hint of what's made
Yeah.
Okay.
Oops.
What's that?
Okay, I didn't mean to bring that. This is what I have like a ton of this. I just didn't want to bring it.
What? No.
No. Okay.
Crazy?
So you don't want this either.
No.
Okay.
What the heck? Did you bring that to like punk me?
No. No.
Why would it? It's just like a neutral color.
Get out of here.
This. Okay. It was a.
I mean, I like that, but probably no. Maybe.
Maybe.
No. I like those other things better.
Okay, so these two are what you like.
Mm-hmm.
Or this one. These are the 3 contenders. I waited till the stain dried for 4 hours, and now I'm outside in the awning. And it's super windy outside, but in here you cannot feel the wind at all, which is really nice and good because I'm going to put a top coat on the shelf, and I'm going to leave it in here so it can be dry because there is a chance of rain. So it's actually really nice to have this super closed in, even though it's not pretty space. Seems to be working out okay. We'll see. It's been super windy today, and this thing is, the door is just flapping in the wind. You can hear it. Oh, there's a kitty. Claire, can you get off of that? Project install day is finally here. Even though it's only been 2 days that we've been working on this shelf, it has felt really long. I know 2 days isn't really that long, but I don't think either of us thought that on day 3 I'd still be working on the shelf and not have hung it up yet. I sealed the pegs separately from the shelf, and now I'm installing them. I drilled holes evenly spaced. There's 6 of them. And I wouldn't say these are my favorite thing to use. I think they could be higher quality, but we're just gonna see how long they last for now. But now the shelf is ready to be hung up. We of course have to check to make sure that the TV door opens and doesn't bump the shelf.
It's a high-end piece of furniture right there.
And while Casey's been working on her project, she's also been working on painting this little strip between the wood stove and the pantry. This fabric is actually a tablecloth that we bought at a discount store. We didn't know at the time what it would be for, but it's perfect for this because it's a thicker linen material. While I was working on this cushion, Casey was doing some garden work and up-potting some things in the greenhouse. The weather has been absolutely insane between the wind and pouring rain showers. It just hasn't been ideal. Getting the cover on the cushion was quite the feat, but in the end, I figured it out after wrangling it for a long time. It's funny that we spent 3 whole days working on this project, and then at the last minute, we are finally completing all of the projects all at one time. That's how it always happens, but we're just happy to complete all of these projects. It's amazing how just a few small changes can make a space feel completely different. This little entryway may not be big, but it is a big part of our daily lives. This corner feels cozier and more organized now, and we are one step closer to making this tiny home truly our own. Thanks for spending the past few days with us, and we'll see you in the next one.